Toy Chica. At first glance, Toy Chica seems harmless enough. She's got that bright, vibrant yellow exterior, much cleaner and more polished than her withered counterpart. Her body is sleek and shiny, with a more modern, kid-friendly design. She's got those signature orange beak, rosy pink cheeks, and a tiny yellow bow tie that screams, safe for children. Her eyes are large and bright blue during the day, giving her an almost innocent, cartoon-like appearance. She even wears a bib that says, "Let's party." How wholesome is that? But when night falls, Toy Chica undergoes a horrifying transformation. Her beak, it just disappears, gone, vanished, like someone ripped it clean off her face, leaving behind a gaping hole where her mouth should be. And her eyes, they become these hollow black voids with tiny white pupils. Toy Chica is part of the new generation of animatronics introduced in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, supposedly safer, more advanced, equipped with facial recognition technology to keep out troublemakers. The phone guy mentions that the animatronics have some sort of criminal database built into their systems. They're supposed to protect the children, but something went wrong, very wrong. Instead of protecting kids, Toy Chica becomes a hunter. She starts her hunt from the show stage, where she performs during the day. But when darkness falls, she begins her journey through the pizzeria. You'll see her in the right air vent camera, that beakless face staring directly at you through the darkness. And when she reaches your office, if you don't put that Freddy mask on fast enough, you'll see those black eyes up close, and that'll be the last thing you see. Her jump scare is particularly brutal. She lunges at you with that gaping mouth hole, her arms spread wide, letting out this distorted electronic scream. But the original Chica was already possessed by the spirit of a murdered child from the missing children incident. So what does that make Toy Chica? Some fans theorize that the toy animatronics were built over the original burial site, that they're connected to the same dark energy that created the original nightmare. The phone guy mentions that the animatronics act strangely around adults, as if they think every grown-up is William Afton, the man who killed the children. Toy Chica's relentless hunting behavior isn't random violence, it's revenge. She's looking for the man who destroyed her. Withered Bonnie, if you thought regular Bonnie was scary, wait until you meet his withered counterpart. This is what happens when an animatronic literally falls apart and somehow becomes more terrifying in the process. His face, gone, completely missing. What's left is a gaping void where his face should be, revealing the twisted metal endoskeleton underneath. You can see the mechanical skull, the exposed wiring, the sharp metal framework that was never meant to be visible. It's like staring into the mechanical brain of a robot that's been lobotomized. His left arm has been ripped clean off, leaving behind sparking wires and jagged metal edges that look sharp enough to cut through steel. His purple fur is faded, matted, and torn in multiple places, revealing the cold metal endoskeleton beneath. His ears are damaged, one completely missing, the other hanging by what looks like a few wires, and his body is covered in scratches, dents, and what looks like claw marks. In Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Withered Bonnie doesn't mess around with the vents like some of the others. He comes straight down the left hallway. You'll see him on the cameras first, standing in parts and service. Then he starts moving, slowly, deliberately, through the left hallway, getting closer and closer to your office. When he appears in your doorway, he just stands there. The most terrifying part, you can't scare him away with the flashlight like you can with some others. Your only defense is the Freddy mask, and you better put it on fast because Withered Bonnie doesn't give you much time. If he catches you without the mask, he lunges forward with his remaining arm. The official explanation on why Bonnie is like this is because Withered Bonnie was used for parts and service, that pieces were taken from him to repair the newer toy animatronics. Some fans believe that Withered Bonnie's condition is directly connected to the missing children incident. The child possessing him experienced trauma so severe that it's reflected in the animatronic's physical state. Shadow Freddy. Shadow Freddy appears as a dark, purple-tinted silhouette of Freddy Fazbear. But this isn't some simple recolor or alternate skin. He's like a living shadow given form, a dark reflection of the iconic bear that seems to absorb light rather than reflect it. His body is the same general shape as Freddy's, but rendered in this deep, almost black-purple color. His eyes glow a piercing white, not the warm, friendly glow of regular Freddy's eyes, but something cold and predatory. First appearing in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Shadow Freddy would rarely materialize. His primary appearance is in the parts service room, CAM08, slumped in the position where Withered Bonnie usually stands. There's no warning, no sound, and no camera transition. He'd just be there. If you stared at him for too long, your game would crash, literally. The entire program would just shut down. But Shadow Freddy's role goes much deeper than just being a rare Easter egg. In Five Nights at Freddy's 3, we learn his true purpose through the mini-games. Shadow Freddy leads each of the withered animatronics, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, into a back room, one by one. And what happens to them there? They're destroyed, dismantled by William Afton himself. In FNAF 3, he can also rarely appear as a hallucination in your office hallway. This reveals something about Shadow Freddy's true nature. He isn't just some glitch or Easter egg, he's working with William Afton. He's the bait, the lure, the Judas leading the others to slaughter. Many fans also link him to Nightmare from FNAF 4, an even more terrifying, shadowy figure sometimes referred to as Shadow Freddy in the game files, suggesting they might be the same entity or closely related. Some fans theorize that Shadow Freddy is Afton, a dark projection of his twisted soul. Others believe he's the manifestation of pure agony, the suffering and pain that permeates Freddy Fazbear's Pizza made visible. But here's the most chilling interpretation. Shadow. Freddy might be the first victim. The original child who was killed before the missing children incident turned into something dark and vengeful. Plushtrap. Plushtrap is a miniature version of Springtrap. Standing at maybe 3 feet tall, this little nightmare looks like a children's toy that's been possessed by something genuinely evil. He's got the same basic design as Springtrap, yellow-green fur that looks moldy and decayed, but in a smaller, more compact form. His proportions are slightly off, like a plush toy that was designed to look cute but failed spectacularly. His ears are too long, his limbs too thin, his smile too wide. But it's the eyes that really get you. Those glowing yellow pinpricks that seem to follow your every movement. When he's sitting in that chair at the end of the hallway, those eyes are the first thing you notice. His teeth are small but sharp, visible even when his mouth is closed. His hands end in tiny but noticeable claws, and his entire body has this weathered, worn appearance that suggests he's been through things. Plushtrap appears in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, sitting in a chair at the end of a dark hallway. Your job? Keep him in that chair using a flashlight. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. See, Plushtrap doesn't just sit there like a good little toy. When you're not looking, when that flashlight beam moves away for even a second, he moves, and he moves fast. One moment he's in the chair, the next he's halfway down the hallway. The way he moves is particularly disturbing. He doesn't walk or run like a normal animatronic. He scuttles like a spider. If he reaches you before you can stop the minigame, he lunges with a jump scare that's brief but absolutely terrifying. Why he's like this? Well, Five Nights at Freddy's 4 takes place in a child's bedroom during a child's nightmares. Plushtrap represents that primal fear every kid has, that their toys might come alive when they're not looking. Some fans theorize that Plushtrap is connected to the bite victim from FNAF 4, that he represents the child's specific fear of Spring Bonnie after witnessing the horrible accident at Fredbear's family diner. The bite victim saw someone get stuffed into a Spring Bonnie suit, saw the blood, heard the screams. Now, in his nightmares, even a tiny version of that suit is enough to send him into panic. Others believe Plushtrap is a manifestation of guilt. The bite victim feels responsible for what happened. Maybe he was the one who pushed his brother toward the animatronic. Maybe he didn't speak up when he should have. Biddybabs. The Biddybabs are tiny baby-like animatronics that stand about 2 feet tall. They have pale, almost porcelain white skin that gives them an unsettling doll-like appearance. Their faces are round and childish, with large blue eyes that seem too big for their heads. They're dressed in simple blue and white outfits that look like old-fashioned baby clothes, complete with bonnets that frame their eerily expressionless faces. What makes them particularly unsettling is how many of them there are. They're scattered around the Ballora gallery like discarded dolls, some sitting upright, others lying on their sides. In Five Nights at Freddy's, sister location, the Biddybabs reside within the Ballora gallery. When you're trying to navigate through this area without making a sound, because remember, Ballora hunts by sound, the Biddybabs become active as indicators of danger. They don't attack you directly in a physical sense. Instead, their appearance and whispered dialogue, such as, "I don't think she likes you," or "We always find a way," serve to distract and unnerve you. They peek out from behind objects, often in groups, making it harder to concentrate on Bellora's proximity. Their presence signifies that Bellora is getting too close, and their unsettling chatter is designed to cause hesitation or mistakes in a place where the slightest sound or delay means death. The most disturbing thing about the Biddybabs is their behavior. They don't act like individual entities, they act like a collective consciousness, often speaking in unison or finishing each other's sentences, adding to their creepy hive mind quality. Some fans theorize that the Biddybabs are the souls of very young children, kids who were too small to understand what was happening to them when they were killed. Others believe they're failed experiments, early attempts at creating childlike animatronics that went horribly wrong. Perhaps they were designed to be companions for lonely children, but something in their programming went haywire, turning their protective instincts into possessive obsession. Phantom Puppet. The Phantom Puppet is the burned, twisted remains of the original puppet, also known as the marionette. In Five Nights at Freddy's, 30 years after the horror of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, the Phantom Puppet emerges from the ashes. The once pristine white mask is now charred black. The elegant purple tears that once streaked down its face are now faded and cracked, creating this web of damage that makes the mask look like it's literally falling apart. Its body, once tall and slender like an elegant marionette, is now a twisted shadow of its former self. But it's the eyes that really get you. Those hollow eye sockets that seem to stare directly into your soul. When it appears on your screen, those eye sockets fill your entire vision, making you feel like you're staring into an abyss that's staring right back. What makes this even more disturbing is the timing. Phantom Puppet always appears when you're most vulnerable, when you're trying to focus on keeping Springtrap away from your office. Why? It's like this. The original puppet was the first to be possessed, the first to gain true consciousness, the first to understand what happened to the children. It was the protector, the guardian, the one who gave life to the other animatronics by helping the murdered children possess them. And now it's back and it's angry. It remembers everything. Some fans believe that Phantom Puppet isn't actually a phantom at all, that it's the real puppet, somehow surviving the fire at Fazbear's Fright and returning to ensure that William Afton finally faces justice. Others think it's a manifestation of pure vengeance, the collective anger of all the murdered children given form. Bonnet isn't your typical FNAF animatronic, but don't let her appearance fool you. Bonnet is the pink counterpart to Bon Bon, Funtime Freddy's hand puppet. She shares the same basic design as her blue counterpart, but with a vibrant pink color that makes her stand out in the FNAF universe. She's small, about the size of a hand puppet, with a clean, well-maintained appearance, unlike many other animatronics in the series. When she appears on your screen, she has a cute, almost toy-like look, stubby little arms, a round body, and that signature bunny-like appearance. Bonnet appears exclusively in Five Nights at Freddy's. Sister locations, custom night. When Bonnet pops up on your screen, you can't hesitate. You need to click on her immediately. If you successfully click on her in time, she'll disappear, and you'll avoid her attack. However, if you're too slow, she'll let out a distinctive giggle before jump-scaring you, resulting in a game over. Lolbit. Lolbit takes the form of a white and orange recolor of Funtime Foxy. When Lolbit appears, it's not as a physical presence, but as a digital manifestation. The design shows a fox-like animatronic with pristine white and bright orange coloring, much cleaner and more vibrant than the worn and weathered appearance of most FNAF characters. Its face has the same basic structure as Funtime Foxy, with that characteristic snout and pointed ears, but the coloring makes it seem almost ethereal, like it's made of light rather than metal and fabric. But here's the thing. You never see Lolbit's full body in the traditional sense. When Lolbit activates, it doesn't physically appear in your office or crawl through vents like the others. Instead, it takes over your computer screen, completely hijacking your interface. The screen fills with Lolbit's face and that ominous "please stand by" message, effectively blinding you to everything else that's happening in the game. And when Lolbit appears, you can't just put on a mask or flash a light to make it go away. You have to type LOL on your keyboard to dismiss it. It's interactive in a way that breaks the fourth wall completely, requiring you to acknowledge its presence through direct input. Lolbit represents the idea that the horror of FNAF isn't contained within the game world. It can reach out. It can affect your reality, your computer, your experience. Lolbit is a digital parasite, spreading from one system to another, one game to another. It appears in FNAF World. It shows up in various spin-offs. It even has its own merchandise. It's become a recurring element that exists outside the normal FNAF timeline. Some fans theorize that Lolbit is connected to Glitchtrap, that it's an early form of William Afton's digital consciousness, his first attempt at escaping the physical world and existing purely as information.